Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for the first video, the first proper video since all of the fallout of the Super League. It's been a highly emotional week here, particularly when it comes to making videos, because even though I kind of want to put to bed the whole ordeal about the Super League, I've kind of also felt as though, despite the victory that happened at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea pulled out of the Super League and then it kind of domino affected everybody else doing the same, it's kind of been like a weird week for me to continue being excited about football, because the problem is only really just beginning. We've got to really get on the backs of UEFA now. The Champions League from 2024 is going to be changing again. And I'm going to be doing a video over on GBFC 2 where I really give my opinions on this in great detail. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But I do want to discuss today, before we get into anything though, please subscribe to GBFC and be sure to go and check out GBFC Selects, linked in the description. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. It is my free to play game with the chance to win £1,000 every time Chelsea play a match. 10 simple questions, pretty simple answers. It's just about predicting what's going on. Check that out, link down below. However, I still have a very, I have an ill feeling about what's happened, about the way that Chelsea Football Club have dealt with this situation. I think first of all, if we bring it back to when Chelsea announced they're actually going to be participating in this Super League, when you go on the club website, there's a statement there, not from Bruce Buck or Guy Lawrence or Roman Abramovich. It's a statement from Joel Glazer, who's arguably one of the biggest numpties in the world right now. Man United fans want him gone. But Chelsea Football Club, when we first approached this Super League, we had a statement from the Manchester United owner instead of one from our own. Which, first things first, this leaves a pretty bitter pill in my mouth that we're Chelsea Football Club, yet we can't actually speak up for ourselves and give like a proper statement as to what we think about this, why we're doing it, why we're going into it. But the main issue that I have, and I know that a lot of fans feel exactly the same right now, and it's why I wanted to make this video today, because despite the Super League being cancelled pretty much and the victory that we had on Tuesday night, it is still very much an ill feeling, particularly for myself, that the statement Chelsea made to confirm that we are leaving the Super League after just bloody joining it, it didn't include an apology. There was no sorry in there. There was not really anything that made me as a fan feel as though we'd been understood. It was more of a case of, you guys made a load of noise, we're pulling out now. You know, there's nothing there that really vindicates why the fans are correct in the first place to actually go ahead and make this a big deal. You know, there wasn't an apology for how, as fans, what the noise we were making actually was that our Chelsea was being taken away. And that is the most important thing. We've seen this week that even though we may have thought that as fans we are so insignificant to the footballing game with the massive influx of money that really comes in and dictates what happens as a business. However, it surprised me, and it surprised everybody really, that Chelsea actually listened and saw the chaos that was unfolding outside of Stamford Bridge and made that executive decision to actually pull out from the competition. I'm still very surprised that that actually happened. However, I feel as though that is just one part of the problem here. And I think even though it's just the word sorry really that I'm looking for here. I don't know if let me know if you think I'm being a bit too sensitive about it, but I think it still means a lot more, and we need to give it the time of day to actually consider whether or not they actually do really care about the fans. I think there was a lot of other factors that might have been considered in the lead up to the decision to actually pull out. And I think the fact that as fans we haven't had an explanation from Bruce Buck, from Guy Lawrence, from Roman Abramovich, one of these guys who they're really the ones that we need to hear from in order to really understand that the club know exactly why we were so anti-Super League, why we had a vendetta against our own football club in order to make sure that we didn't compete in this competition. And I don't know on an interpersonal level if the club actually respects that. So over the course of the past couple of days, I felt a little bit off about talking about Chelsea because I still feel a bit off towards the club. Even though they did the right thing and we're moving in the right direction, I personally believe there needs to be a reform, not just Premier League, Champions League reform. There needs to be a reform within Chelsea Football Club as well. And I think we need to now, as fans, if you can go and join the Chelsea Supporters Trust, I will leave a link down below, you should. I have joined today myself as well because the last few days and the last week or so has really woken me up to the power that we have, particularly here with an audience on YouTube making these videos that are dedicated to our football club. We can actually make movements here. And I think as fans, we need to do all we can. I know it obviously costs money to support trusts and different things like that, but it's not always just about money, You can join and just be a part and have a voice. And I think that is a massive thing for us moving forward, where even now, I'm looking at Bruce Buck, I'm looking at Guy Lawrence, and I'm thinking, in terms of how our football club should be being looked to run, and as fans, what we anticipate, what we want, what we desire for the way that Chelsea Football Club is ran, I think there needs to be changes there. The Premier League have reached out to Bruce Buck, asking him to step down from his position within the Premier League and everything that goes on there. And I think at Chelsea, at this moment in time, there are talks that Roman Abramovich is absolutely furious with both Bruce Buck and Guy Lawrence, that these are his advisors. Roman Abramovich owns Chelsea Football Club, and it is inevitably up to him to make the decisions as to what happens for the club. Chelsea don't go out and spend 70 million on Kepa without saying to Roman, we think this guy's a good goalkeeper, shall we go out and spend this money? Roman Abramovich still has a massive say, of course, in everything that happens at Chelsea. And supposedly, he's furious with how things were dealt with the Super League, with misinformation, with not really knowing what we were getting ourselves into. It's made him look really stupid. And I actually believe, I wanted to make this video and really focus on my feelings about Roman Abramovich, because despite everything that's been going on regarding this Super League, he came in for a lot of criticism. And over the years, there's always been that little question as to the integrity behind the man. We know he seems to absolutely love football. And the reason he got into Chelsea in the first place, to my understanding and to the masses' understanding, it was because he had a love for football. Obviously, there were plenty of business reasons as to why you would want to invest in a club in one of the richest parts of the country, in West London, Chelsea, very affluent area. And for a businessman, it makes a lot of sense for Roman Abramovich to be going for a club like Chelsea Football Club. And obviously over the years, we have to become and be eternally grateful for the injection of cash that Roman Abramovich has put into Chelsea to enable us to sign these players, to take us from being a club that were flirting around and sometimes qualifying for Champions Leagues, winning an FA Cup here and there. But we've become a European powerhouse. We've become a club who, even if the Super League wasn't based off of money and finance, we would still be considered an elite football club because of the honours that we've won in the past 15, 20 years. Right now, Mr. Abramovich, what I would really love to see from you, I'm not expecting you to do a John W. Henry and sit in front of the camera and pretty much read off of a script and give us an apology. But I think the way that we are now ran internally at Chelsea Football Club, you need to really focus on us. You need to really focus on having people who we as fans don't just see business transactions going on. We see the community element being a huge part as to what makes being Chelsea. And I don't know what that is going to entail. There is a lot of talks at the moment about the 50+1 Premier League clubs being owned again by the fans as a majority. I want to save that for another video because that's another talk for another day. We could go on about that for a long time, and there's a lot of things that will be affected as a result of that being a push that fan groups do in the Premier League. But I want more from Roman. I want an apology still. That is pretty much the reason why I made this video. Let me know how your feelings are right now about this whole thing in the comments below. Of course, we're happy that we left the Super League and it's not going to be happening. But as a fan, I want to feel as though I've been understood. I want to feel as though all of that protesting wasn't just a load of noise. It was something that actually built that connection back between those at the club who are making the decisions and us, the community of people that make Chelsea and that make football exactly what it is today. So let me know how you're feeling right now about everything in the comments down below. Just realised the camera audio cut off, my microphone battery is dead. However, I want to talk about the potential right now of Real Madrid not being allowed to play this semi-final against us on Tuesday night next week or Wednesday, one of the two. There are reports that UEFA are tirelessly trying to do everything that they can to make sure Real Madrid cannot in fact play this game against Chelsea. How I feel about this is very simple. If Chelsea are to get a bye straight through to the Champions League final, it wouldn't feel the same if we won it as if we beat Real Madrid. I think if we can beat Real Madrid, everybody wants us to do that right now. Everybody wants us to put the knife, obviously metaphorically, into Florentino Perez after everything that he said this week. There is serious animosity, not just from Chelsea fans, but from global football fans towards Florentino Perez, and as a result, of course, Real Madrid. So if Real Madrid are in fact to be disqualified and therefore Chelsea don't play the match and they get through, it wouldn't be the same. You know, when we won it in 2012, we beat Barcelona, we had the incredible comeback against Napoli, solid double leg against Benfica, Bayern Munich in their home ground. It was special, and I don't want to have a bye to the semi-final. I want to go out there, beat the living daylights out of Real Madrid on a football pitch and make sure that if Chelsea are in that final, we are there based off of full merit because we deserve to be there. Atletico beaten, Porto beaten, and I pray that it is Real Madrid beaten as well. Thank you guys for watching today. Massive game this weekend against West Ham United. Probably the biggest West Ham Chelsea game in many, many years. So expect my preview for that one probably first thing tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, check out GBFC 2, link down below, and I will catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.